welcome to another video by Payton Sides Horsemanship. This video is a little 4-year-old that has been in with me he's on his 3rd week, so Friday will be the end of his, Friday will be 3 weeks. He came on the 28th, I think, which was a Friday of January, and he's had up until now. We've ridden out in the arena probably 5 or 6 times and a few times in the bridle here. Hadn't really guided a whole lot. Been working on getting him soft in the face, laterally, and going forward. This horse is actually for sale, so he'll be on our for sale page on the website. I think they call him Twister. Anyways, what we're working on here is with lateral flexion. You have to understand that it's not just the horse bending and giving side to side. When you go forward and you have lateral flexion, they need to be following their nose. Their feet needs to come with you. So that bend has to be connected to their feet. So we're bending and driving him forward into these circles in this trot and walk here. And right here, if he kind of pushes out on me, then I'm going to really pick up and really bend and drive that hip around. And driving that hip around will push him around and get him around in that circle the way we want him to be. We're doing that. We're working on that here. But what I'm also working on is just getting him to kind of ease up in this trot and just trot off soft. And so we're doing a lot of little direction changes and circles, driving him into those turns, and not just, you know what, they call it rubbernecking. I don't want the horse to just kind of rubberneck when I bend, pick up and bend there. See how he followed around right there? That's perfect. Right here I'm sitting, asking for a stop. I kind of waited on him a little bit, and then I just kind of tipped his nose to the left there, and he realized, oh, I can stop, and we'll get a little back up right here. So this horse has been in the program for a short amount of time, but he's making making up a lot of ground here. He's doing pretty well. Just give him a little rest and bend him a couple of times here. Let him understand that when we ask for him to give to our hands, that it's a good thing. It's a positive. Right there, I'm squeezing and I'm touching his mouth a little bit with both reins, and I'm kind of teaching him that drop his head cue right there by squeezing my legs and having him drop off his head from that. I'm gonna hold him here for a second. Squeeze and hold, squeeze and hold. He backs up a second, and watch him, and he drops. So when he drops, everything goes away. Okay, right here we're going to move on and try to start loping him. And actually on this day, we wanted to move into not just loping, but guiding in the lope. I've been letting him kind of go all over the place and not really guiding much. And right here, he kind of started pushing out with his shoulder, and you can see I bring him on around and push that hip to drive him into that circle. If you have control of that hip, you can get whatever you want out of these horses. That's the way to get those horses to come around in those circles, get that bend, and then get them to connect that bend to their feet by driving them into it. You can see right here when I pick up and try to guide him at that faster pace, he's really pushing out and not really wanting to come around. I got to reinforce it right here. I'm reinforcing it by picking up and pushing that hip around, send him back off, see if we can get it again. We get a lope right there. He's slow. He loses his lope. We've really got him wanting to go slow and stop, which is good for him. So he gets a little lazy about going on, but we'll get through that. Right here, he's really losing the connection between the bend and his feet. His feet need to be connected. Now you see how he's coming around with his nose. There we go. For a second there, you can see he was just bending and not really wanting to go forward and come around with his nose. We want to do a lot of these little circles and bending and changing directions and making them drive through that bend and drive up under them and have their feet follow that nose, so we can use that as we go along. Right here, he's got this little spot in the corner over there. There's a pin that he was staying in. That was his pin. So he's got this little issue where he's like, okay, I'll lope, only if we get the lope back over there to the pen. And and I'm going to show you here as the video goes along how we address that. He does pretty decent right there. He starts pushing out right there. That's the spot that goes toward the corner over there where that pin is. So he pushed out to that spot. He's gonna have all these little sticky spots in the arena that he's wanting to go to, because to him they're related to something other than this riding and working, which is that spot over there where his pin is, and then the out gate. He really wants to go out to the out gate. Once I get him over his little spot over there in that corner, he starts focusing on the out gate and tries to hang out over there. So right here, I'm just, I'm loose rein. I got my rein taken up on the inside there so I can get a hold of his face if I need to, if he does something crazy. But I'm loose reined. I'm trying to just drive him off into the slope, and then I'm going to try to guide him around. So I got him going right there, and here we go. We'll move on. Right here is where I really addressed him wanting to come back to this spot. So what I did is I let him come back over here, and I put him to work over here for a little bit, just changing directions back and forth into this fence in this area that he wants to be. And right here, I let him go. And I drop the reins to him, and he goes off. You can see I'm not really guiding. I am right there. But anyways, we go off and ride away a lot smoother. Okay, we're trying to lope some more. We're working on it. We're trying to get him to lope through this circle and lope a circle. Drive through here, and when I pick up and guide you with that inside rein, then you need to come on around with that, and you'll see that he's still not quite getting it. I'm not really worried about what lead he's in. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. See right there, as I was picking up, he was pushing against it and not following his nose. So I had to reinforce it. I picked him up and drove his hip around. So that's the cure right here, is to pick him up, drive that hip around, and get him following that nose. There, we got a pretty good lope right there. Here, he's going to stick at the gate. Here's the out gate. They let me go by the camera there, but there's the out gate. And he went over there and wanted to, now see how he's hanging out on this side? He don't want anything to do with his other spot, but he's found another spot. And he said, well, I'll try this one and see if this one can get me out of work. Right here, I'm going to really get after him and get him coming through there, bend, come out of it, bend and come out of it. I'm really having to put some pressure on him right there and spank him on out of it. You don't want to kick these horses a whole lot. You want to spank them forward. Kicking's going to do nothing but get them balky. You need to spank them on and drive them forward. Right here, I'm not guiding. I'm letting him just go around. I'm just trying to get him up in the lope. Right, he tries to use that fence to beat me, so I pick up his face and really drive that hip around and get him to come forward into that. Follow his nose. Right back to following his nose. He's getting pretty a lot better at it. There we go. We got a little turn right there, even though he's in the wrong lead. But I'm gonna let him go around. I like the way he kind of came around that circle right there, and I'm gonna give him a rest right here. I'm gonna sit and quit riding. Let him rest for a second. So here we come back, and we're going to try it again. We've been really working on it. Been really teaching him to drive through and follow his nose around. And we come around right here on this left side. He's been having some trouble. He's not quite wanting to follow that nose. You see how he just keeps pushing out and not following that nose. He's wanting to come to these sticky spots. That's his main thing. He's wanting to find these spots where he doesn't have to do anything, or he feels like he doesn't have to do anything. So we went ahead and worked through that, and here is the result at the end of the day. He drives through. He gives us a good little circle. He guides and follows his nose around, and I'm really pleased with where we ended up right there. He took him a second. He really had to work more than he's had to work so far since he's been here, but really pleased with how he ended up, and he got to come back, and I back him up there a little bit, and he gets to come back and rest and understand that everything's all good as long as he follows that nose. When we bend and get that lateral bend and come around, no matter what gait we're in, whether it's the walk, trot, or canter, we need to follow that nose. So he's for sale, and check him out on our for sale page. Thanks for watching.